A cold breeze slid through Emily Carter's apartment long before she realized something was wrong. But the real shock hit her when she woke up to a notification. Your photos from last night are ready. She hadn't taken any photos. She hadn't even touched her phone after collapsing into bed at midnight, exhausted from a double shift at the clinic. Still half asleep, she opened the gallery and froze. The first picture showed her sleeping on her side, hairs spread across the pillow, blanket pulled up to her shoulder. The second showed her from a different angle, closer, more precise, like someone kneeling beside the bed. The third was inches from her face, capturing her eyelashes, her parted lips, the small mole near her cheek. She stared at the images, breathing hard, trying to convince herself she must have pressed the shutter by accident. But the angles were impossible for a phone lying on her nightstand. She checked her front door. Locked. Windows latched. No signs of forced entry. When she checked her smart home history, it showed bedroom motion detected 2:41 a.m. She hadn't been awake at 2:41. She tried to laugh it off, but her hands wouldn't stop trembling. At work, she kept replaying the pictures in her mind, feeling each gaze like a fingerprint pressed into her skin. A coworker joked she looked like she had seen a ghost, but Emily brushed it off. All day, she felt watched by patients, by security cameras, by something she couldn't name. When she came home that evening, she left every light on, checked every closet twice, then pushed a chair against her bedroom door like a child scared of monsters. She whispered to herself, "It's nothing, just a glitch, just a stupid glitch." But when she finally fell asleep, she drifted into a dream so vivid she jolted awake around 3 a.m., heart pounding, mouth dry. She grabbed her phone. New notification. Your photos from tonight are ready. Her stomach dropped so fast she nearly threw up. She didn't want to open them, but her thumb moved anyway. The newest picture showed her sitting upright in bed, eyes wide open, staring directly at the camera. But she had no memory of waking up. The next photo showed her standing near the window, her back turned to the lens, hair hanging wet as if she had stepped out into the rain. She checked herself. Her hair was damp. The final photo showed something behind her reflection in the window, a tall, shadowy figure with long fingers reaching toward her shoulder. She flung the phone across the room and backed against the wall, trying to understand how any of this was possible. But deep down, she knew the truth. Someone or something had been in her room 2 nights in a row, watching her, touching her, photographing her while she slept. And whatever it wasn't done yet. Something far worse is coming. Stay tuned for the next episode, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Emily didn't sleep the next night. She couldn't. She sat in the living room with every lamp on, clutching her phone like a lifeline, refusing to step into her dark bedroom. Every creak of the old apartment, every passing car outside, every faint vibration from the fridge made her jump. She kept replaying the window reflection in her head, the long fingers almost resting on her shoulder. And the worst part wasn't the figure itself. It was the fact that she looked completely unaware, like she wasn't even conscious in those photos. She started combing through her phone settings, searching for hacks, malware, anything. But nothing explained how her camera was being triggered or how someone could physically enter without leaving a trace. At 2:12 a.m., the TV switched on by itself, volume low, screen glowing blue in the dim light. Emily froze, too afraid to breathe. She grabbed the remote and switched it off, her hands shaking, whispering, "Nope, no, no." But not 3 minutes later, It turned back on again, this time with a faint static crackle, like someone was trying to speak through the noise. She unplugged the entire TV and backed into the corner of the couch, trying to convince herself it was faulty wiring, that this apartment was old, that her nerves were shot. But somewhere deep in her chest, a primal fear kept whispering, "Someone is inside." She tried calling her friend Ava, but it went straight to voicemail. She paced, trying to calm herself, when her phone buzzed with a new notification that almost stopped her heart. Facial recognition active. Her phone only did that when scanning her face, so why was it active from across the room? She slowly turned toward the device lying on the coffee table. The screen lit up. Face detected. But Emily wasn't in front of it. She backed away, whispering please into the empty room, tears slipping down her cheeks. The phone buzzed again. This time, a photo preview. She didn't open it, didn't want to, but the thumbnail alone made her knees give out. It showed her sleeping, tonight, even though she hadn't closed her eyes, even though she hadn't been in the bedroom at all. She forced herself to tap the image open. The first picture showed her lying in her own bed, blankets perfectly tucked around her, as if she'd been placed there. The second picture was closer, capturing her with her mouth slightly open, her hair spread around her pillow. The third showed the shadowy figure again, but this time its hand wasn't reaching toward her. It was gently touching her cheek. Emily dropped her phone and crawled backward until she hit the wall, shaking uncontrollably. "This isn't real. This isn't real," she whispered. But the apartment air suddenly shifted, colder, heavier, almost suffocating. Somewhere down the hallway, her bedroom door creaked open, slowly, deliberately, like an invitation. She stared into the dark hallway, feeling the presence watching her from the shadows, and she knew without a doubt that whatever had climbed into her bed in those photos was awake now, moving, aware, and getting closer. Something terrifying is waiting in the next chapter, so don't miss it, and make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss what happens next. Emily pressed her back against the wall, her pulse hammering so loud she could hear it echo in her ears as the bedroom door finished creaking open, revealing nothing but a suffocating stretch of darkness that seemed to breathe, contract, and shift, like something alive inside it. She grabbed the closest thing she could, a lamp, holding it like a shield, even though she knew deep down that whatever was stalking her didn't care about a lamp or locks or logic. She forced herself to inch toward the front door, her bare feet dragging across the floor. But the air grew colder with every step, as if she were walking deeper into a freezer. Suddenly, her phone buzzed again, where it had fallen on the rug, vibrating in tiny jerks like it was panicking too. She didn't want to pick it up, but she couldn't leave it behind, so she grabbed it and instantly wished she hadn't. Another photo, taken just seconds ago. It showed her living room from behind her, which meant the camera had captured her as she picked it up. She spun around, searching every corner, every shadow, whispering shakily, "Please, please stop." But the silence around her throbbed with something unseen, something patient. She moved toward the door, but when she tried to turn the lock, it wouldn't budge. It wasn't stuck. It was like something on the other side was holding it shut. Her hands trembled violently as she backed away again, and suddenly her phone lit up with a new message from an unknown number, one she had never seen before, one that didn't even look like a real number. The message only said, "Stop leaving. Come back to bed." Emily nearly threw the phone, her throat tightening with panic, her lungs struggling to pull in a full breath. "You're not real," she whispered to the dark hallway. "You're not real." But deep down, she knew that wasn't true. Not after the photos, not after the freezing air, not after the voice like static in the TV. The hallway light flickered once, twice, then went out completely, plunging that stretch of the apartment into absolute black. Emily held her breath without meaning to. She waited. And that's when she heard it. Slow, deliberate footsteps on the bedroom floor. Each step soft but heavy, like someone dragging their feet across carpet as they approached the doorway. Emily raised the lamp like a weapon, her arms trembling as tears blurred her vision. The footsteps stopped right at the edge of the dark hallway, just inches from the living room light, just out of sight, like you knew exactly where the shadows would hide it. The air shifted again, brushing against her face like a cold exhale. Then something whispered from the darkness in a voice that sounded eerily familiar, almost like her own voice layered with someone else's. "Emily, come lie down." She froze, heart stopping for a full second, realizing the voice wasn't just mimicking her, it was learning her. The next reveal is the most terrifying yet, so stay with me for the next part, and don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss what happens next.